but besides Metallica shit
We're
though.
we're fucking live, palios.
Okay.
Yep.
We're
I
live.
Yeah.
see it.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you.
Hello.
Welcome to Same Shit, Different Day. Marching into Madness podcast. We got Bailey here, and we got a Raza here.
A Raza.
One Raza, and then we also
One
have
Raza.
a wine mom to keep us under control.
Hi.
Hence the mom.
Hello.
So we were unprepared and did not do a topic list like we should have. And our wine mom will duly
We did.
chastise us.
I mean, I was waiting. I could have yelled at you guys ahead of time, but I was like, Raza told me last time, don't worry, I'm going to do it. And I said, okay, I trust.
Yeah, that's on me. That's
I think
on me.
It's
bigger
okay.
thing,
It's okay.
we all have to communicate in the actual Discord. It's like a mess of us
I
all
mean-
spamming each other different places.
Mhm.
In my defense, I assumed the stories I was posting would be topics, like the heroin one.
I mean,
Shit.
I'm willing to talk about it for sure.
Okay, let's get it
I'm going-
cracking. You can't introduce it off of that, then, my man.
Okay, so there is a professor in America that does heroin 3-4 times a day, I think, to stay active, to stay hyper focused. Apparently, he does get withdrawals, but as soon as he gets it, he just fucking chases that dragon. So, I don't know, and he's a dad, so I don't know
Mhm.
what sort of effect this has on his teaching. Apparently, there's been no what do you call it? No results of his teaching. So I have no idea if it works.
So, like, has he done it as a study? Is it like a study, or is he just
Yeah.
like, here?
It's a little bit of a both. It's a study and it's the thing he normally does, and I think he wrote a book too on it,
Mhm.
on how it helps him, how it helps his research and shit like that, but without realizing that hundreds of people die from heroin overdoses every year
Yeah.
in America. So I don't know if he's telling the truth or not. That's where I'm conflicted in.
So you
Right.
think he would just to like maintain an addiction, fabricate like this entire academic stance that it benefits
Yeah.
him?
I feel like
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't
That sounds hefty.
think so either. But like it sounds like something too like why? You know what I mean? Like why would
Well,
he need to do that?
I think he had an ulterior motive. I think there's a reason in the article because I when I was reading the article, he's pushing for decriminalization.
Yeah,
Which
that's the
That's
thing.
what. Yeah.
yeah.
But decriminalization of like I think decriminalization is great, but of like not of like heavy ones like heroin and stuff like that. But then that sort of begs the question of where do we draw the line?
Yeah, because he's
Right.
like a radical.
Yeah.
That's how I knew about him, was because of that. Because he's like a radical.
Yeah.
He
Mhm.
believes that it all should be decriminalized, right?
Mhm.
So that's the part that's up for interpretation. Because then someone like him, who's like a psychonaut and believes it helps me, it makes me better. Then like what category? Who are you to decide that the poppy seed drug belongs in the bad category?
Exactly. Yeah. It's like I can't give you a definite answer. It's extremely black and gray and shit. So it's just like
Yeah.
people. It depends on who you ask. I think heroin shouldn't be decriminalized, but I think a lot of other drugs should be. But that's just me.
Well, the problem with decriminalization, like, doesn't that mean that even the people who are selling it, which are the people that are holding it, essentially, would be decriminalized for them as well? still illegal, but,
Yeah.
like, they would face less punishment for it. So
Yeah, and
it's like
it's yeah, like the like it comes b- b- back to the whole like weed thing. Like we can go to a dispensary and get our weed legally, but does that mean our boy down the road has it illegally? Like is like the laws aren't super
well, with weed,
like that.
it's that's not the way that it is here because there's multiple stores that sell things to grow it and teach you how to grow it, and it's become more of like a commodity. It's like a fun, like a hobbyist thing to do in Toronto now.
Yeah.
Whereas manufacturing and selling meth, I don't believe would become a hobby. It would be for financial gain.
Yes.
But
Yes. Yeah.
like, okay, I've been personally affected by drugs, not heroin specifically, but, fentanyl specifically has affected someone in my personal life that I know,
Yeah.
had taken their life. So, for me, the idea of, like, allowing these drugs to be, like, a fun recreational thing is actually, like, a crock load of bullshit. It's not a fun
Yeah. I
thing
agree
to
with
do because you're like, "Oh, I wanna try these drugs and, like, have a good time," and, like, it's helping me, like, think harder and work better, and it's like, maybe that does that for you, but you have to think about the people who don't understand the ramifications, the long-term effects of doing things like
yeah.
that, and, like, what addiction can actually do to you in the long term, and, like, as a teacher, I think he holds a lot more responsibility than he's
Yeah.
willing to accept by just, like, haphazardly putting out a book with, like, some bullshit that he just said.
No, not even just a teacher, like being a parent himself,
Of
like
right.
just imagine like uh this the the message like he's giving his kids of like yeah once they get of age they're gonna see their dad be like he did heroin to teach and they're gonna
Mhm.
be like yeah that's normal I'm gonna do it too and stuff and maybe
Mhm.
his kids may react to this thing completely different than he expects them to.
Right. Well, and you think
See,
about it like sorry, go ahead.
well, it's like that. I kind of like get where you're coming from, but it's such a like subjective point because you'll always get talked in circles. No matter what, you're gonna find the
Yeah.
alcoholic who's also gonna be telling his kid it's okay to have fucking 6 bottles of beer at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
Mhm.
100%. Like I'm coming from a place of like from my experiences. So like I
Mhm.
don't know what his kids' minds are, at, or like if they'll ever be at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's also about the fact that like how can he like from his point of view, how can he sit there and say that, "Oh, I do like small amounts of heroin." And he said also like MDMA, sorry, and like LSD, I think were also referenced in the article. So it's like he's saying that those are things that he uses to like function, which I'm sorry, that's a sign of addiction. If you're using a
Yeah.
substance to function, you're addicted. It's
Mhm.
not that you're using it as a tool, it's an addiction.
Yeah.
How can you justify that it's okay to do that and then teach an entire class of students, but if a teacher showed up to school drunk or high, it wouldn't be allowed. So it's like him
A
trying
double
to justify that, it's just not it's unjustifiable.
Yeah, I and that's the whole thing. Like when I was reading this, I think he's just using like I could be naive in this, but I think he's using his like his job and whatnot to justify his addiction and stuff. Like yeah, I need it to stay on top of things when he's not acknowledging the actual issue, and that's like
Right.
he's addicted to it. He needs it to properly function, as you said. So I think I don't know if that's true or not, but I feel
Mhm.
like he's making it out to be a little bit lighter than it actually is.
Well, exactly. And I think like so within the hair industry, this is like a bit of a stereotype. A lot of people will fight against me for saying this, but
Yeah.
um specifically, like, back in the day, because hairstylists they're known for working, like, extremely long hours, and also hairstylists are seen as, like, party people because it's kind of the industry to, like, be out there and marketing yourself as your business tool, right? And what a
Yeah.
lot of hairstylists are known for doing is running on coke.
Oh,
So,
shoot.
eh, I like, personally, I don't wanna be taught by somebody who's doing heroin. I also don't want my hair cut by somebody who's doing coke, right? So it's like,
Right, right.
you have to see where it's like, if you hear it in the context of a stylist is doing coke in order to function every day because they work long hours, stay up half the night, get up and come in early for work, like, you're gonna be like, "Okay, well, that's an addiction, you need to get some help." Like, that's not
Mhm.
functioning, right? It's the same thing for him. It's not it's functionality, but at what cost, really, in the long
I think
term?
that, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the ultimate thing. It's hard to. We have to be careful about the statement. Like, I'm not saying like we
Is
have
it
to be.
true?
We have to be careful is the wrong term, but it's like none of us are like the medical professionals at the same time. So it's
Correct.
like to
Yeah.
play devil's advocate on their end. I'm not trying to like save our asses. It's to play devil's advocate on his end. He's gonna say, "Well, who are you to decide that my lack of
Yeah.
functionality is then prescribed as a quote unquote addiction, right?" And it's like, well, shit, we
Well, I
gotta
w
go to fucking. He's leaning on the pillar of education to support
Mhm.
his
Yeah.
argument.
That's where,
But
like,
I would
he's
say that there's tons of educated alcoholics who've lost their children.
And they lean on the pillar of their addiction to support why it's valid. Like, oh look,
yeah.
fucking life's so hard. I'm a Harvard professor.
Mm.
I'm on tenure. It sucks that I'll never lose my job. Oh no. I
But I
wish
mean,
I.
think about famous
Yeah.
people who are alcoholics and they lost their children.
Yeah.
Like, no, not to pick on her because I think she's had a horrible life, but Britney Spears faced the possibility of losing her children because of drug and
Oh,
alcohol
yeah.
issues. And it's
100%.
okay to do that to her, but because a Harvard professor is doing heroin casually, it's we're just gonna, like, it's okay, he's smart, and, like, who are we to know if it's functionally gonna work for him or not? Like, with all due respect, you should be treated equally, like,
Yeah.
no offense.
I know what you mean. Like, it doesn't make sense if it's like like, I've seen heroin addicts, and, like, it's not like I assume he does it often where or he like, I don't know if you can, quote, unquote, what's the word, dove dose on
Mhm,
heroin,
Yeah,
so
you
I
can.
don't know if you can do that, but I've seen people, like, and of course, you both have, where heroin has completely taken over their lives. It's
mhm.
completely part of them, so I don't understand if he's saying he does heroin so many times that, should like, he should show some symptoms of an addict, otherwise he's hiding it pretty well, or
I
he's
mean, if
just
you're taking it multiple times a day, that's addiction.
yeah, but yeah,
Yeah, like the part I will come in as the social justicey is it's like hard to say he's hiding it, right? Because it's like has
right.
so many different forms, you know? Like it's
Mhm,
Mhm.
such an obtuse thing. It's hard to say oh he's hiding being an addict because it's like maybe that just is his form of addiction,
Right.
mhm.
But
right?
but it's so, like, it's interesting how, like, how this guy is taken seriously. Like, he should be, like, I think it's sort of like a cry for help, more or less, but,
Well, it's sad because, like, I can see, like, I can see the intellectual points that he's trying to make, and I can
yeah,
understand what his vision and what his goal is as far as decriminalization. Like, I get what he's trying to do,
mhm,
but at the end of the day, like, you're not doing it the right way. Like, if you wanna decriminalize something, that's for people who are being put in prison for long periods of time versus given the ability to get sober. Like, that's where the
yeah,
issue is. When ultimately that's why in Canada we were like, okay, we have to legalize weed because it just started overcrowding our system for like for
Mhm.
no reason. Like it's so many people are in jail for long sentences for having small amounts of weed. It just like it doesn't make sense in the long run. We're just wasting space and money, right? So
Yeah.
the idea of decriminalization, it makes sense because we have these big facilities where people can go and get medical treatment, but we reserve them for what we consider, and I'm using air quotes here, as crazy people, the people who are having like genuine psychotic breaks or who have mental health issues. It's like, how do you not see an addiction to heroin as also a mental health issue?
Right.
Because you see alcoholics as a mental health issue, but why is heroin not considered the same thing? You know what I'm saying?
You're right. I think because
Clean.
yeah, because well,
I
let
think
me, yeah, sorry.
well, like
Uh
sorry, go Raza.
alcohol is like heroin is a taboo in society. It's like
Mhm.
if
Mhm.
you do heroin, oh, you're an addict, right? But if you drink, everyone drinks, right? Everyone, you're my dad or no, not my dad, but like, I have friends whose dad gave them their first drink when they were like 16 or 15 and like that. It's like normalized in society.
Mhm.
So I think it's because of this normalization,
Mhm.
like or non-norm, like the opposite of that word. Uh, it's certain drugs are being looked at as certain ways. It's yeah, that may sound obvious,
Yeah,
but
and I think that's ultimately, I that's the you're at the weird catch 22 because that's what he's also trying to argue should change in a way,
Mhm.
right? Is like our
Mhm.
perspective
yeah.
on those
Right.
classifications. But
But
Well,
as
like
that's
I am
that
fully
one
on
mom
board.
said, yeah,
yeah.
but as one mom said, he's going about it the wrong way.
Yeah. Well, that's the only reason why I can say, like, I understand what he's trying to do, but, like, you're just not going about it the right way. Like, I get
Yeah,
it, I understand, but, like, I can't be on board with you until you do it the right way. Which, I mean, like, what is the right way, though? So, it's a hard one.
yeah. Again, like who are we to talk about this because
Right.
yeah. So, but yeah, it's just sorry. No, I just got distracted by this. I'm
um,
watching
so
my because in this game you only have one life, and I'm trying to stay alive as hard
Trying to
as
stay alive.
yeah.
so then on the note of like who are we, right? The one I was getting
I'm
grumpy
Raza.
about today. Did you see anything about the travel, like the travel restrictions they put for coming into Canada?
Didn't they say because like you can come back into Canada even if you were positive, but you have to show
You have to
proof?
show a test. You have to show that you took a test before you got on the plane. You have to take a test within 3 days of getting off the plane, and then
That's so
you have to
stupid.
pay out of your own pocket. This is the part that is like I'm all conspiracy grumpy about. You have to
Okay.
pay out of your pocket to stay in a government like sanctioned quarantine hotel. And they estimate it
Yeah,
costs like $2,000, $3,000, which cool I would have been down
annoying.
with like a fucking months ago. But what a fucking coinky dink that they put these restrictions in after all the politicians got their opportunity to go on their nice winter vacations.
I can agree with you there.
Mhm.
However, I don't have sympathy because
Yeah, same here.
they've been saying, "Yeah, the borders are open, but please don't travel
Don't
if it's
go.
not
Yeah.
essential." Like, they had to leave them open for some essential travels. Now, at the end of the day, it's the government's fault. Like, you guys should have put more restrictions. You should have done that from the beginning. Like, I don't know why you guys have no problem shitting on everything else in the world, but you don't wanna put down hard restrictions on travel because God forbid you stop people from fucking spreading a virus.
Mhm.
But the annoying part about it is that, like, personally, I know lots of people who have been traveling, and it's like, if you can afford to go knowing that you have to pay for a COVID test when you leave, pay for a COVID test when you get there, and then pay for a COVID test when you get here, like, you're kind of ready for that possibility of what it costs. And I've had this argument with a couple different people, and at the end of the day, I'm hard on no travel. Just, like, don't
Yeah,
do it.
same here.
Like, it's
Same
not
same
it's not the
here.
time.
Yeah, I
Team no
agree.
travel.
Yeah, I'm
But
down with
I
that. I'm totally down.
understand.
I'm
Yeah.
just grumpy about the politics part. I'm fully
And
fucking
like
on
Well,
board
at
no,
with
the same
no. I
time,
think that they should all be held responsible for it. 100%.
Jesus Christ. All right.
so
I guess
fucking
I'm still team no travel, I guess.
yeah.
Okay, but my point is this. My point is this, okay? So in America, right,
Mhm.
they had some politicians doing travel, and then Trump had been traveling all over the fucking place, doing whatever the fucking whatever bullshit he does. Okay. And then because I had this argument with a family member, and this is why like I have my opinion, right? It was okay to go after the politicians that were traveling. They were like, "Yeah, we should go after this person and that person." And I remember this person I was arguing with was specifically talking about Trudeau doing some traveling or something over the COVID. And
Yeah.
so I had brought up the point. I was like, "Well, Trump has been doing literally the same thing. He's been fucking around. Should we go after him?" And the response was, "Well, he's the president of the United States." I'm like, "I don't
What is
fucking care."
Trudeau then? What is
Like
Trudeau?
he's the number one person, like he should be setting the number one example. Don't do it.
Mhm.
Like I think we should go back. If you're going to enact a new policy, like to agree with Bailey, your point here is like why you're so butthurt about it is like if you're going to enact a new policy, then all those people that got off on the policy, like sorry, your day's here. You're going to go to court just like everybody else. $2,000, like
100%.
pay into the system, pay into the
Yeah.
system.
Like
Mhm.
I think that that money that Bailey was talking about earlier, like
Mhm.
acts as an incentive to not travel to say, hey, if you do this, here are the costs that come
Yeah.
with traveling. But we have these the snowbirds who are surprised in Florida when they're like, oh, we can't come back. I mean, we're stranded in Florida. What are you supposed to do now when the government has been telling them to come back and you won't
Yeah.
face any consequences? And I just want to add this: I'm only noticing white people are screwing up. This is a lot of white people that are going to these anti-mask rallies, but at the same time, Brampton. Brampton has the highest
Yeah.
COVID tax or the COVID fines in I think just Ontario, and they're
Mhm.
my people, right? I don't know what the fuck they're doing. They want to have their weddings and stuff, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
can you not send this back 20 years, please?
I just
Yeah.
think in the beginning they really dropped the ball. There should have been a lot more rules. And,
Yeah, for sure.
specifically one of my friends who works at a downtown salon, at that time when it was still like when they sent us back, so they had put us in lockdown and then they sent the people back, basically opened everything
Mhm.
up, and this was just before Christmas when they shut it back down again.
Yeah,
And people were still like taking like vacation travels, like they were having like a good fun happy time while all the rest of us were like going to and from work and like trying to figure out
yeah,
the world. And one of her clients called from a fucking airport and was like, I need an appointment tomorrow. You're under a mandatory like 2 week, like you're supposed to be isolated. Like, hello, how is this thing on? Like, are you there? Is anybody home? And like luckily they found out through social media that she had been flying, and they confronted her about it, and she was like, oh, I've been home for a week, like that's not true. And it's like,
yeah,
no, like you just posted online that you just arrived back in Toronto. You are not coming here to get your hair done. Are
yeah.
you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like,
Like
It would
I
suck.
traveled yeah,
I
I traveled, last just like, I came back to, Canada, like, uh, just I think just after,
mhm.
or just before it started, and I was just like, if I
Raza, oh.
waited yeah, I know, I got it. If I waited just a week,
Mhm.
I would have been stuck. I would have been, like, so screwed and shit.
Well, my father and my sister came back from Cuba, and then literally the next week, we were like, they were freaking out and shutting everything down, and people were starting to wear masks, and like everybody was canceling their appointments at the salon. It was just like pure craziness. And at that time, I
Mhm.
was like, I didn't really understand what was going on. I was like, okay, this is like weird. And, normally when people come back from flights and stuff, they get sick. And like, it just was very overwhelming and like really caught me off guard. And I mean, luckily they came back when they came back, but,
Yeah.
like,
And
a
I
lot
went
of
My
people have that story.
I went to
my
Texas
aunt.
last April, and it was like right at the beginning of it. It was wild because it was like right as it was starting. So the only question was like, "Have you been to China in the past year?" It's like,
Yeah.
Like, I was asked that like so many times, like here in the Niagara region, and in my head, I'm thinking, should I say something about this? Should I say like this is low key racist?
Yeah.
I know.
I know.
That's so my one funny story, and then we can keep ranting. The one I giggle at, you bring up the snowbirds. It's like because I got
Mhm.
my family's not exactly ballin', so my grandmother is like in her 70s and still works at the restaurant every day, right? So
Right.
it's
Mhm.
like imagine the dichotomy of she's there in a restaurant and there's snowbirds coming in and like bitching to her, like, "Oh, I can't go to Florida." My grandma's like, "Yo, what the fuck? Like, I'm stuck here
Boo!
either
Yeah,
way."
yeah.
Well,
Like,
right.
cry me a freaking river. Yeah,
Like,
you don't get to go on on your stupid vacation that you go on every time or every year. Boo!
Well,
too
and
bad.
I think it highlights, yeah, I think it's highlighting though, like, the dynamic in just, like, the human race, like, how some people hoard wealth and, like, people who work every day. It's just like I had this argument with my friend recently. It's like, how is it fair that people who don't have the same luxuries and, like, we're the ones that are working? Like, not myself personally, obviously, because my industry is shut down, but like thinking about people who work on the front lines, like not just like doctors and nurses, but people who are working in Walmart. And it's like Walmart is
Restaurant.
disgusting,
Yeah,
or any kind of like mandatory food industry and stuff like that. Like they're being exposed to things that I don't think it's fair. And
yeah.
I have an issue with the way a lot of the businesses are doing things. I don't think that they're doing them the smartest way possible.
Yeah, because uh, businesses need to make money. We live in
Mhm.
a capitalist society, so as long as they're making money, our health doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's
Well,
the whole pyramid. You're right. It's the people who hoard wealth have more control. Like the less
mhm,
property and shit we own, the less influence. Like the way it's kind of fucked. Realistically, I try not to think about it often, but the way that like mortgages and credit scores work now, like my family, no one in my family has a history of credit. Like realistically, if
mhm,
I want to apply for a mortgage,
Yeah,
good fucking luck.
yeah,
So it's like the
exactly.
systems are stacked against people who have not already been accepted into the fold. You know what I mean?
Right.
uh,
I mean,
uh,
if you're not financially educated enough to know like what steps you need to take as a young person, like especially when you come, like, not to shit on the way that I grew up, but like I had a single mom, so options were limited. Like she
mhm,
only had so much that she could give or so much information that we could obtain. And like when you have children so young, you don't think about all the financial repercussions long term. So
yeah,
I was saying to one of my friends, like, all the stuff that I know now as an adult about like how to handle my money and about credit scores and about investing and like all that stuff I had to learn on my own because my family always told me, don't get a credit card. It's just, you're just going to get debt. And it's like, well, no, that's not what it's about. But like, that's how you're raised when you live in a low income family because you're like, well, we got to save everything we have. And the chance of like risking it with, $1,000 credit card that could just take your, let's say your rent money per se, it's not a risk you were really willing to take.
yeah, 100%. Like, what was I gonna say? Like my mom is really good with her finances and stuff. So
Mhm.
her credit rating is good, but she even to tell because I just got my first credit card like last year ever.
Mhm.
Like so like and I still haven't used it because I don't want to rack up any I'm scared of
Yeah.
using it because I don't want to get any debt. Like I believe I like I'm very blessed to be like financially stable and stable enough to say I can use it, but and still not worry about the repercussions. But even with
Mhm.
that, I'm scared to use it because
Yeah.
I've been conditioned myself to be like, this is going to keep me in debt like so long and shit.
Yeah.
Join me in the pit.
Yeah,
Join me in the
of debt.
pit. Join
Well, it's like
Like,
I
me.
remember when when I first got a credit card, my ex-boyfriend's mom, she was like, "Don't you have a credit card?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, "Are you kidding me? Please get a credit card. Like, what's wrong with you? You need to build up credit." And I was like, "Whoa,
mm,
lady, like that's risky." And so she basically
Jesus
forced me to do
Christ.
it, and I did. And then
Yeah.
I still even spent like years after getting that credit card. 'Cause I got it like when I was in high school. And then I had spent
Okay.
years arguing with my ex about the limit on the card. He was like, "It's not
Yeah.
enough. You got to pump it up. You got to use the credit card. You got to get you got to start putting money on it. That's how you build stuff." And I'm like, "Okay, well, when you're yelling at me, don't tell me what to do." Also, too, like I'm not that risky. I'm fine with a $300 limit. Like I don't need more. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously it's changed now because I'm an adult and I have to spend higher adult amounts of money, but at
Yeah.
that time I was like 300 is my limit. I don't need $1,000 credit card. Forget it, pal.
Yeah. Like the
Like,
only thing I spend a credit card on is gas and Lickbo, and that's it.
yeah.
Lickbo, LCBO for all you guys watching is our liquor store.
Yeah.
It's called LCBO because it's run by the province of Ontario, and provinces are like states.
Yeah.
So I don't know
The
where that came from.
just got all of a sudden got mad about the LCBO.
Yeah. But no, it's yeah, financial struggle. It's COVID is just highlighting that right now.
Yeah, well, it's
Exactly.
like fucking isolate. Like, I mean, you too, Lily. Like, how many friends you got that live in a project? It's fucking isolate in your house, my ass. There's fucking 5 people in the house.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's true. I mean, I live on my own. I'm lucky enough to be able to afford that, but yeah, I
Yeah.
think about it like there's tons of people that I know that live around here that are like it's a 3-bedroom house and there's like 7 people living there.
Yeah.
I will raise you 10 people living in a Brampton house.
But it's so common though in these areas. Like that's what happens. Like low income area, but like high demand from these low income families. It's too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. That's true, but Brampton is not low income, I'm pretty sure.
I honestly I don't know too much about Brampton.
It's
I
good.
choose to
Lucky
remain
you.
free of that space.
Lucky you. Tell us more about how you're free of that. Tell us more.
I am
Oh,
free of it,
man.
Raza, okay?
Jesus
I am
Christ.
young, wild, and free.
City sucks. If there's any
Well,
Brampton viewers out there, I'm sorry, but
I can say the same thing about the area that I'm in. It's not great.
true, but Brampton.
Yes, but
Yeah.
also this area's it's has a little tiny blanket of posh, but it's actually garbage. So
That's fair. That's fair.
yeah.
Like, the reason why I hate going to Brampton is because there's 4,000 people. There's 4,000 me. So I already hate me enough. I don't want 4,000 of me. And
Oh,
motherfuckers
that's mean.
do not know how to drive there. If you ever driven for Brampton, oh my god. Sorry, this is not the Brampton cast. This is something.
I think this is the Brampton cast. I'm
Yeah.
This
sorry.
is not the Brampton.
The only thing you've come back
Damn,
to thus far.
it just sucks, man.
But it's valid. It's a valid point, and like I just said, like with COVID, all it's done is highlight that the people with money are able to continue living life as they
Yeah,
please to do so, and the people without money are forced to scrape the bottom of the barrel, eliminate majority of their savings, work jobs that they can't afford to do, not just because of COVID, but because they don't have there's not enough hours in the day, and it's hard. It's tough.
like yeah, like it didn't like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Tim Cook, and all the other billionaires get richer during
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
pandemic. How does that work?
Well, I think Bezos is actually, like, legitimately the richest man in the world now. I think he just,
Now he
like,
is,
just went
yeah.
up there. He just
Yeah.
beat I think it was Elon that he just surpassed, was it? I
Yeah,
don't know,
yeah.
but
So
yeah.
it's a normal thing now where just, billionaires just race each other now. That's where
Mhm.
the society has gone to, so that's fucking
Yeah.
great.
I mean, like, my biggest issue, and I've had this, like, issue my whole life, is people who are living luxuriously when it's unnecessary. You know, like
Yeah,
if you're a single person, why do you need a multi-billion dollar home just to be like, I have a multi-billion dollar home? Get a nice small home. You can still get $1 million home, get a nice home
no
and
no
hire
one
some security. Like, just come on.
no one should have that amount of
So
Mhm.
wealth
then
is
so then here's the Mr. Communist over here. Like my
Oh, I'm ready
question,
for this.
it's
me or
for
you.
both of you then.
Mhm,
Both of you
mhm.
then
I'm
is
not a
like
socialist.
the thing is, but so whatever. Same shit. um,
I don't think so, but
how do you who decides? How do we set a scale? How do we say like $200,000 a year is enough? Who decides?
I
Well,
think
That's the thing.
that's
If you're trying to convince a conservative Karen, what would you tell them?
Well, for me, it's not about, like, capping out what you can maximum income. That's like that of course, that would be ideal, but I mean, like, you if you're smart enough to make the money, then you make the money. I get it, I respect it. My main issue is about the what they call, like, the trickle down effect. It's like these people make this money and then they proceed to sit on it. And that's
mhm,
where the issue is. It's
that's
one
my
thing if you're
argument.
like, right. It's one
Yeah.
thing if you're like, I have all this money and I'm going to give back to the community. Like for myself personally, I just said this with one of my friends recently. I wish that I made more money or I had more money so that I could take care of the people in my life that are struggling. That's more of a concern to me. And it's like if you're a bit the fact that like there's people out there who have enough money that they could possibly cure homelessness or world hunger and like you have that you're sitting on that kind of money like ew,
Yeah.
like it's just
Like
you're just sitting on it.
my whole thing is just like the rich should there should be no millionaires and billionaires shouldn't exist. Like you're holding on to that money
So you're
when
not answering my Karen question though. You're how do you we get that they shouldn't exist, but how do you decide
no.
$1 million is too much? Where's your council of Karens? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
That depend. It's a tricky question though. I find.
Well, that's why I'm not saying there should be a cap. I don't think that it should be that there's a cap, but I think that there should be some sort of like a mandatory put back into your system. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
like of course we have taxes which are supposed to do
Mhm,
that, but like we all know it doesn't do that. It just goes towards more bullshit. But
mhm.
it's like as somebody if you're making a certain amount of money, like it's hard to say required because it's just like it's I don't wanna sound like I'm like, "Oh, I can't be successful and you should take care of me." It's like, that's not
Pay
what I'm trying
me.
to say. Right,
Yeah.
but that's not what I'm trying to say, but what I'm saying is like, if you're cornering a market and there's no room for anybody else to come in that market and you're making billions of dollars, start investing in things that are important. And I'm not saying like, "Oh, if you don't believe if so" I mean, this is like a super like, I don't agree, but whatever. Just if you don't agree, I'm trying to like say this without saying it mean. Let's say
Okay.
if you're a billionaire and you don't agree that the homelessness crisis is your concern, fine. If you don't believe that's your concern, fucking fine. But
Mhm.
if you believe that small tech companies or startup companies or childhood education, things like that, if you believe that that's the fundamental place to start, then put your fucking money where your fucking mouth is. So you're sitting on all this fucking money and you're doing nothing with it. But if there's things you believe in, put your fucking money in it. And I think about like, do you guys know who Honey and Barry Sherman are?
I've heard
Okay,
of it,
so
but
they're billionaires who were murdered recently, like within the last 5 years.
Oh, in
Okay,
They're
yeah,
Toronto.
yeah,
philanthropists. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
Yeah,
they were very rich people, but they were
mhm.
also very well known for donating and supporting their community. And it's like, why can't people just do that? If you're sitting on
Yeah.
billions of dollars, like support your
'Cause
fucking community.
greed. Greed. We want
Well,
more. We want more.
exactly. You're just
We want that
sitting on it.
greed. Yeah, like
It's the American dream.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
capitalism at the end of the day. Like I'm a Bernie boy, and like there should be a wealth tax depending on how much you make, and if you don't fit that bracket, don't pay it because it only should affect the upper class people, like the ones
Mhm.
who are millionaires who make those who
Yeah.
make several $100,000 a year or something.
Well, we should stop shaming people who live in poor communities and can't donate to charities and start shaming rich people who have billions of dollars and don't donate to charities
Walk
and
your
communities
truth,
that are in need.
king. Let your nuts hang. Sorry,
I
yeah,
would say
I got
that's what's happening with everyone getting at Bezos.
good,
Well,
good.
but like I just said, he like I know that there's some claims that he's doing some stuff, but like what are
Yeah,
you if he was really like doing all this donating and stuff that they're saying, like I think he would be a lot more big dicked
Nah,
about it. Like he would
and that's
so
some
talk more about
bullshit.
it.
That's some bullshit. And his employees wouldn't be pissing in bottles as they pack your fucking
yeah,
prime same day
Right.
deliveries.
so
Right.
for the the Elon Musk simp in the room, Bailey. He 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 said he he said he's giving his workers stock in his uh
Company?
company, yeah,
Mhm.
but he's union busting them, so that's one of the reason why he's going to Texas too, because Texas is like they're pro CEOs. They're like
I don't
uh
want stock in fucking Tesla.
And I
Cut
think
me
yeah,
a
we
check,
already
bitch.
stonks aren't
exactly.
real. We already know this. Stonks are
Yeah,
made up.
yeah,
Okay.
like money isn't real. So like he's like a lot of his employees I've found out aren't rich. So like it's that Atlanta meme I sent you, Bailey, where it's just like uh poor people don't need stocks to invest. They're too busy surviving. They need that money now, not in September. So that's what people
Right.
don't understand. Yeah, he's giving his workers stock, but he's also like not letting them get out of poverty and stuff, and he's stopping them from unionizing. He even
Are you
said
okay, Bailey?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
he he even said himself if anybody unionizes or gets those government bailouts to quit their job or to stop working for him. At the same time, he's getting government subsidies, and that's another one of the reasons why he's becoming one of the wealthiest men in America because
Well, you know
he's
what else is really annoying to like piggyback off that? Do you
yep.
know how many social media stars who have like make like a online makeup store who like have sold maybe one product in like 10 years were a
Oh,
part of those business grants?
Mhm.
Jeffree Star, Jaclyn
oh
Hill,
no, I
Oh
fucking hate
yeah.
Nikita
Jeffree Star.
Dragon. Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
But this
racist
but this
idiot.
is
So
what
she
the
had enough
government
money to
sets you
pay
up
the
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hate that stuff so much.
Yep.
Kanye got
100%.
like 600 million from it or some
Yep.
shit.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Same with
Jesus
Elon.
Christ.
He was getting some stuff as well. Like
Yeah.
lots of big business people, that's what they did. They saw that opportunity and they jumped on it. But this is what I mean when I say like you're just fucking sitting on money. It's like God
No.
forbid like you accumulate all this money and then there's an emergency. And perfect. You have all the accumulated funds. Perfect.
Mm.
Fucking figure yourself out and get out of the fucking hole. But instead you're taking money out of the government and all these people can't even get a fucking CERB check and there's people who have been living off 500 fucking dollars for over a
Yeah.
year. Are you kidding me?
And it makes me so sad uh, because like in New Zealand, or not New Zealand, Switzerland, or one of those Nordic countries, the
Mhm.
moment uh COVID happened, they should shut down, and they were like, "Look, we're going to start giving you money because we know you can't live like this," and they have been still doing that. And wine mom, socialism works with another with another government style. It cannot work alone, and that's why these other countries
I mean,
are working.
yeah, like I can't say that I fall under any specific category because I think like there's when it comes to politics, there's just so much, right? So I try to avoid talking about it too much. But it's
Mhm.
for me, it's less about a political thing and it's more about a humanitarian thing. Like, how are we as people unable to care for people? It just is it, like, it doesn't make any sense. You know, like I make very little. I get myself by the best that I can with the things that I am afforded, but I will
Mhm.
still buy groceries for my friend if they need it. I will still
Right.
lend money to somebody if they need it. Like, I'm here to help my friends and help my family get to the same position as me. Like, we're all in the same race. We're all going to end hopefully in the
Yeah.
same place. And it's like, I just don't understand why, like, society as a whole, we just look at these people who are in tougher situations and go, well, they deserved it. Like, they got themselves there. Well, like, life is
Mhm.
hard, dude. Like, it's a humanitarian
100%.
issue. Like,
100%.
Pull
And like
pull
it's
yourself up by the bootstraps, bro.
bootstraps,
yeah,
yeah.
like,
And
stop.
this is a human, and you know what's interesting? The stuff you are talking about is only found in humans because humans have ego. Once we
Mhm,
have an ego, it becomes b- like me. Once you start thinking about
mhm,
oh like once you start thinking of like about ourselves, it becomes about
mhm.
us. What do I
Yeah,
want to do with this money? You
absolutely, absolutely.
you will find this stuff in the animal kingdom.
Yeah,
Because they're too chill and they're all the same.
yep. I just wanted to make a side note as well. So, Bailey, are you gonna put on a puppet show for us over there? I see you, like, looking
I want
around for something good.
this puppet show. I want to see the
I was debating it, but I don't have anything good enough. I don't have anything
Aw,
cute enough that transforms. I've only got these guys here right now. I debated the Clefairy flips inside out.
that's
It's
what I
kind
was
of gross.
thinking. Bring it, do it.
Kind of gross. It's kind of gross. So look, see, it's like the normal one. It's like a Clefairy here, right?
Cute, love
And
it.
then you unzip its fucking behind and invert the thing, so you just shove it into itself, and
Perfect.
it turns into the bigger boy, and Raza doesn't care.
I'm sorry.
That's
I
cute, though.
my ass handed to me.
It's cute, I like it. The
It's
little wings.
adorable, Bailey, and I'm totally looking at it.
It's like a mild intermission of, like, happiness. Oh, a poop?
Oh.
Perfect. Poop jokes. It's a great level to be on
My
today.
my cousin in Pakistan, he has like
Mhm.
a poop prank toy that looks like poop, and he always puts
Cute.
it behind me, saying, "Rosa, well, why'd you shit on the floor?" I'm
Little
just like,
feet.
I'm not doing
Yeah.
that. It's disgusting.
Honestly, like, I'm naturally, I'm very much a prankster, and I always have to, like, remind myself not to go too fucking far, but it's so
Oh,
easy.
s- same here, same
Yeah.
here. I'm just like, do I do that racist thing or do I not do that racist thing? And then I do that racist
No,
thing.
for me, it was more like I had a prank with my old boss at my other salon.
Mhm.
We had a running prank. So we had done Christmas decorations. It was like one of my first, it was my first Christmas with them. And we did Christmas decorations. There was these little hanging elves that were like on little hooks and they went on the little tree at the front. And he refused to help me do it, and like I had to do all of it, and there was so many of them, and I said to him like, there's so many of these fucking little things, like, what do you want me to do with them? Like, they're not all gonna fit on this tree. And he was like, oh, just give them to me, it's fine. And then I slowly started finding them in my locker, in my shoes, in my desk, like in the cash register, on my chair, and I was like, oh, so we're doing this. So
Okay, now.
I waited till after Christmas, and I literally
Mhm.
hid them everywhere. I got one of my coworkers to take his car keys and put one in his car. And he was like, how he comes in the into the song, he's like, "How the fuck did you get in my car?" And I was like, "I didn't go anywhere. I've been here all day."
Oh, that's
What are you talking
funny.
about?
I don't. So
Yeah.
remind me to never prank you because you've committed.
I will finish the prank for sure.
All
Yeah.
right,
I will go
so
too
I
far.
will
Oh,
fuck it.
prank wars.
Yeah.
Prank wars. I guess we have a skit then of a prank war then.
Sure.
Better than my last idea, the race war.
Probably
This
better,
is
yeah.
car racing, not like what you guys think. Car racing. You're right. All right.
Car race war.
First
Car
says
race
race war. Race war, moment of silence. Car racing. I meant car racing, not race war.
You gotta walk into like a fucking conservative. Go walk into Fox News and offer that as a new segment. You'll get a job right away.
Oh,
Car race wars.
absolutely.
On the
Absolutely.
spot, you're hired.
Dude, you can see CNN these days too.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, controversy. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Debate it. It's just NASCAR.
Gotcha, sucker.
It's a race, and it counts as a war. Pranked ya, and then I get fucking doxxed.
No, I've done some. When I look back at the pranks that I've done, yeah, I'm kind of mean when I look back at it now. My poor sister though, like she got it the worst when we were really little.
Oh god.
What I would do when me and my dad prank each other, I don't prank him. I just start beating the shit out of him.
See, okay, do you want me to tell you? I did this like ultimate prank on my sister, and it was one of the last ones that I did because my mom stepped in and she was like, "It's too far. I can't sleep. It's too much." But she was so I used to always wait outside the bathroom door. So that when she'd come outside the bathroom door, I would say boo. Like that was like my go-to thing. Like I tried to scare her. I love scaring people, like making people jump. It's like one of my all-time faves. So I would do that to her all the time.
All right.
And then I had gotten this idea in my head one day. She was in the shower and she was being so loud, like singing in the shower, like having a great time. And I was like, this great time's coming to an end. And so
Stop having fun.
yeah. So she was a wizard one year for Halloween. So I went into her room and I took they had this like shoulder length wizard glove. And so I went into it's so funny. I went into the bathroom and I went to when you're facing the shower. So I stuck my hand in the end where she's looking. I stuck this like gloved hand in and I scared her so bad. Like she was screaming on the top of her lungs, but it was the funniest fucking thing that I had ever done.
That's so funny.
Yeah. And then my mom was like, "I can't. No more.
I can't. Stop. I gotta deal with this afterwards. Just shit. Stop.
It's like there's this TikTok trend where people are like, "What is the like meanest thing you did to your sibling that was like probably too far, but you did it anyways?" And I was like, "Well,
that."
My sister was in a very vulnerable place, and I scared the shit out of her.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I pranked my sister because her and I just have a very not friendly relationship.
Yeah, neither do me and my sister.
Oh no, we hated each other.
Oh, ask Bailey.
Oh, okay, all right.
We don't get along very well. But I
Never
think
mind.
like for me, like she was more like she never got me in a smart way. Like she was just like a bit of a jerk. But I always got her in a smart way with like a good prank.
Okay.
So yeah, it was fun.
My sister like it takes after my dad. So instead of using words, they use their hands and fists, and they beat me up sometimes. But again, think about it: a 29-year-old throwing hands at a 67-year-old. I think
You're kind of at
wins
an
that one?
advantage. It's a little mean.
If you really want to be Andy Samberg, you gotta live that life, bro.
Yeah, you do. Exactly. You gotta out of my dad. He's hearing this and he's gonna come after. And be like, what are you saying about me?
Just go sit down and watch Hot Rod with him, and then be like,
Yeah.
Dad, like this
Yeah.
is what
He's
needs
seen
to
that.
happen.
I
Yeah.
kid you not, bro. I kid you not. Like sometimes he watches movies on his tablet. I kid you not. One day he was watching this. I believe it was one of the Hannah Montana movies. And I was asking him, "Why are you watching this?" And he's just like, "Cause there's nothing else on." And then
Oh,
I was like, "Then why don't
that's
you
so
put on?"
bad.
I didn't, so I was just like, "Why don't you just watch some, proper TV show?" And then I put on Daredevil, and then he's like, "No, I'm gonna go on Hannah Montana."
Oh,
So
I'm sorry, Raza. That's like literally the cutest thing ever. Like, he's just trying to live his own life and like vibe with some Hannah Montana, and you're like,
my,
no, race car.
yeah, it's got be a man. Gender role, gender
Oh,
role.
God.
Gender roles. We're not allowed to watch Hannah Montana.
Yes.
No.
Jokes.
I kid you not, during March break, I remember when I was in high school, every day I would wake up and he would be either watching Dawson's Creek or I think The View. So I think my dad is a 40-year-old white woman. I just want to put that out
Oh,
That makes sense. If he's watching The View, if he wants to know what Joy has to say, then he's a certain
Joy
type of
or like
character.
Megan McCain, or yeah, her.
If it's for Whoopi, it's excusable, but I mean that's a hard contest otherwise.
Hopefully he
yeah.
isn't hearing any of these things.
I hope he does hear this and like pranks you later.
What if like my dad doesn't have good hearing in one of his ears, so he blasts the cell phone really loud, and I hate it. But this is one of the few times I'm like, okay, because it's drowning out my bullshit.
Yeah, yeah. No. I just think like life is hard and just have a little bit of fun. Prank each
Yeah,
other.
for
Why
old
not?
people, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just prank old
And
people.
then
Sounds
Just
like a
yeah,
prank
great
give him
show.
heart
old people.
attacks. I can't prank my mom though with the scary stuff because she scares very easily. Because
Aw.
even I go into her room and I say, "Hey," she's like, I was like, "I just said hey, relax." Jesus Christ. She's like, "Yeah, I scare her really
Yeah.
Yeah,
easily."
I don't really know these
I'm a
experiences at all. Like I'm Mr. Only Child.
yeah.
It's like, I never had any of this.
It's okay. I'll start pranking you then. No problem.
Me
I'll bring you
too.
in the loop.
Me too.
It's never been that
Except
fun.
it'll be worse.
Shouldn't
I've
have said
always
anything.
avoided
Too
them.
late.
Oh fuck me.
Just don't tell me where you park your car.
Alright,
And
I
then
won't.
don't I know his the Twitter account. Okay, sick. So I can just start yelling obscenities at
I mean, I already know exactly what I would do to upset Bailey with a prank, but
oh,
I'll
I
just
know
maybe I'll just wait and see. Maybe I'll just wait till he forgets about it.
I don't like this.
I do know there isn't much that doesn't get actually B- Bailey has a pretty thick skin, but when you
Mhm.
get to those like when you get under it, that skin becomes like paper.
I think with Bailey, the thing is inconvenience. That's
Yeah.
the issue. That specifically is the issue. Anything that's gonna make my life take longer than I've already predetermined it's going to take is going to be an issue.
And I think that's hard to say for all of us. 'Cause, yeah,
Listen, I went to go meet Bailey downtown once to go play pool, and I got very big trouble for getting lost because he was like, "How can you not figure it out? You have a phone in your pocket. What's wrong with you? I told you where to go." And I was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna get there when I get there. Like, see ya when I get there."
that's so
We've
funny.
got a magical map in our pocket. We got a magic map. Like
I mean,
it's-
but you also know downtown like it's your life. I go downtown and I'm like, I have no idea where I am, but I'm here somewhere.
we're in an era where you can like hold your phone in front of you. It's got a little arrow that like says you're facing this way.
Now, now imagine walking late at night and you're like, I'm trying to get to this bar where the pool hall is, and he's like, "You're dumb." You're like, okay.
Remember when Bailey at here in the Niagara region when he
Mm.
invited us all out, and I pre-drank, so I was drunk going there. So I kid you not, I was going like this, looking at my phone. I was like, "What is he saying to me?" And like, so
Oh,
to
because
this day,
I lived above the bar, and you couldn't put together that the door beside the bar was the door to my apartment.
yeah, and like I'm seeing two texts at once, and I'm just like, these words don't mean anything
Well, that's
to
like
me.
when Bailey starts telling me like north, south, and this road. I'm just like, dude, like just talk to me like I'm a fucking toddler because I don't know what you're saying. Like I
And
hear you. But
what
to
I
be like
love,
in Bailey's defense though, there's been numerous times where we're supposed to meet somewhere and he has to meet me halfway because he's like, she's fucking lost. I'm just gonna start heading in the direction I think she is.
eventually,
Bingo.
I, I,
Yeah.
that's happened to me a couple times, but even to this day, when like, I don't get the Toronto slang as much as he does. So when
Mhm.
he's talking to me in full-fledged, like
Toronto
full-fledged
mans.
Toronto man, I'm just like,
Mhm.
what? I
I
only
know.
know 25% of what you said because I literally have to go on Six Buzz or the other Toronto pages to try to look for people who are talking in his tone.
Mhm.
And so that's what he means. And then I assume that's what he's talking about. Like,
I
okay,
mean,
well,
I,
but
I live here, and even sometimes I'm like, what is he talking about?
Oh my
I love it
god.
though.
No
He's
offense, like, love you, but sometimes,
Right.
dude, I'm like, maybe I'm just like not as like hood as I appeared to be. Like, maybe I'm not a Toronto. Like,
I
I
think
just
it's a
don't
I think
know.
it's a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of the
yeah,
slang, and then
probably
I'm just on the internet too much.
Mm.
100%. Yeah, like I'm slowly like whenever me and Bailey talk in a Toronto man's, I'm slowly learning it. He's like
Yeah.
I'm to hold up, but like in the past, I'm just like, huh? Oh,
Mhm.
like it took me a minute to realize that man's mean like it means something different than what I was saying it because I thought man's means an other person, but then I realized, oh, man's means me. So it's like, oh, so I thought he.
But I think, but it also depends context because
Yeah.
sometimes Bailey says mans and he's referring to his singular personal self. And I'm like, who are the mans? Just the single man? Okay.
Right. And then
Are there
and then
other people that I don't know about? Like,
that's so funny. Yeah, it's just like
ugh.
so and then like I'm trying my best to like be like do the Toronto lingo, but then I sound whiter than him. Bailey had to cheat to make me sound white, by the way, and I give him props. A white man has made me sound whiter than him, and all of my friends think he's black. Like, you see a picture of him, like there's a ginger with like long hair and whatnot. It's like, oh, is he in? Does he play hockey or something? Like, no, he just looks that. I don't
Fuck you.
I'm
Fucking
sorry, you've broken me.
fucking
he looks.
fucking
Okay, how
sitting
long
here
can Bailey
chewing
be the butt of the joke?
Sorry, yeah,
the whole
that's fair.
time. I took it humbly. I did it okay. I'm
No,
blushing a
these are
bit,
all
but I
geez,
took it.
like it's just like but I say this with like like this guy has taught me like almost everything I need to do so far, and the
Mhm.
patience he has is just like I'm a saint, but at the same time, if he can stop being the Toronto man for like 3 seconds, that'd be
Can't.
great. That'd be great. And so like there's no awe like when he wakes up, he's just like, yeah, scene. I'm gonna. Nobody.
Yeah.
I think I think a thing should be a channel, like a video of me giving words to him and
To
him.
translate to Trontonian.
Oh my god.
That could actually work, dude.
Maybe. I like the skit of someone waking up speaking it. It makes me think of those fucking Eminem skits I've been seeing so much of like Eminem does this. I've been dying at those. What's his name? Little Windex? He's killing it on those. I was dying.
I think you sent me one. I think
I sent you one. It's just fucking hilarious. It's like he gets like further and he progresses to the point that he's like psychotic about it, and like his girlfriend's trying to talk to him, and he's like in his head just rapping, unable to like stop. It's fucking fantastic.
He can't stop. I'm rapping fast.
How long do you folks want to go on a weekly basis? Because it's been an hour and 10 minutes.
I mean, it's up to you. You tell me.
Yeah, so an hour. I'm down for whatever.
I'm not sure we didn't discuss this, though, so I don't care if it's a test.
Like an hour isn't an hour the like
It's the standard.
Yeah,
standard.
But also, like, streams sometimes go for like long hours.
Well, because like what I was thinking.
Hold up, Eric Carter speaking. Okay, I got nothing. He's just singing to me in Ico, so he's telling me how Nick Carter touched him.
And what I was thinking is like I'll try to I'll try to be a little producer boy, and then it's like so for next time then because it's like we're trying to combine recording and just hanging out on stream. So it's like what if we like at a point like this say whatever hour between an hour and a half wrap up sometime there. And then we switch over to the fucking hangout screen and then allow chat to pop in.
Sure,
I mean, sure. It's up to you.
And then do an hour there or something?
Yeah, or whatever comes naturally.
Yeah. I'm down.
Because, like, we don't have to necessarily do an hour there if there's nobody watching us hanging out.
Yeah. Hey, chat. It's like Dora the Explorer. Hey, chat. Okay, and anyways.
Okay, so then we're gonna pretend to wrap this up. Thank you, everybody. This is like cool. Raza wants to clap like we're actually filming, but we're not. The same shit, different day. And when this is not a test, then this is our hangout time. Okay.
This is hangout time.
And I would also say Mary Brown's chicken sandwiches are the best. So please get those chicken sandwiches. And Mary Brown's, please sponsor us.
No, don't.
Let's do an ASMR stream.
No.
Mary Brown's, it's not that bad. It's worth defending, but it's not top tier.
Yeah, it's because you're white.
You gotta go with the Popeyes. It's the spicy Popeyes. You gotta get the spicy Popeyes.
Okay, let's be real. Popeyes isn't that spicy, all right?
Yeah, but it's still better than the other chickens.
Yeah, but at the same, you know what, Bailey? You're wrong. You know what? No, actually, no. You know what? Next time all three of us are in the studio together, I will bring Mary Brown's with me. Coming in hot. Mary Brown.
Don't just skip me. That's okay.
Are you? Is there what?
I will get one from Hogtown. Don't worry.
What's Hogtown?
It's okay. Just leave. Just he'll figure it out. Just let him in his own time.
He doesn't know what Hogtown is.
Yeah, it's okay. I specifically left out a word because let him figure it out.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Not bad. Not bad.
It's all good in the hood. Don't worry.
My sister is also
one of those dirty words.
One of those dirty plebs.
Honestly, like you have to be so careful when you identify as, because then you'll never hear the end of it.
100%. 100%. I have like my friend went vegan for like I think 2 months, and he's like, I can't do it. And I was confused because he was 2 months in. I was like, isn't that like a good enough time to like?
Yeah, so like I guess yeah.
Okay,
I won't get too deep into it, but it just became something that I just felt compelled to do, and I was like, I don't really care about the whole logistics of it. I just know that it's not good for the world, and I'm just gonna make my own small
yeah.
difference in whatever way that I can.
Mhm. So
Well, and
like
you're smart about it with your diet. You eat a balanced diet, so.
Yeah.
yeah. See, like I eat meat, but I only eat like halal meat. So that's like not mass produced. It's only and it's more expensive. It's because of how like it sounds oxymoronic, but how
Mhm.
the animal is butchered. It's more like humane. Again, oxymoronic, but like
Mhm.
it's
I
not
mean,
as
I
You're still
100%
getting the same
I
shitty cows, though,
yeah.
man. You're
yeah.
still getting the
I
Like
same
mean
shitty fucking steroid-filled animals, just
no,
slaughtered different.
actually, I'll argue this. The meat that we get, uh, the butcher shop near our mosque, or like selects specific cows, and they have to
Oh
be,
yeah, I feel
like,
okay.
and you have to be fed in a specific way. So not like how the Westerners do it, but like
mm,
healthy. Like that's why when you see halal meat, it's not like it doesn't look like unnatural. It looks like normal meat, like how
mm,
meat is supposed to look like. But so and we only like we eat meat, but it's not like a thing. Like it's not like a regular occurrence. Like I love me some some like I forget like the dish has a Pakistani name. I don't know what it is in English, but it's a mix of potatoes, corn, uh peas, and then it has this very greasy sauce just
mm,
doused in it, and it's so good. And you can have it either. I've seen why people only have it with a spoon and a fork, but the real G's have it with naan or roti and stuff like that. So I just
Yeah,
mhm.
that's like I do
it's like,
like I'm an omnivore. That's what I am. I'm not a carnivore.
Mhm.
I'm
well, yeah,
omnivore.
same. It's 100% like a commercialized white guy thing to like have to. I gotta have my piece of steak or my chicken or this with. I gotta
Yeah,
have meat with every meal. Like, I mean,
yeah.
I really
Yeah.
like my meat, but I probably eat like sixty
That's
percent
what you said.
vegetarian because I
Yeah,
just you don't I don't need to have fucking a big old steak. I'll have some eggs with breakfast. I couldn't go for vegan probably because of eggs. Honestly, eggs save my nutrition
Mhm.
balance. That's honestly
Yeah.
the and I love me some bacon, but
and like I
It's just
can't
it's complicated either way, and, like, I think at the end of the day, it has to come down to, like, what feels right for you,
yeah.
and, like, I know, like, especially on Twitter, there's a whole community of, like, vegans, and, like, as much as I respect them, they are very mean, so
Militant.
you just kinda have to yeah, you have to, like, pick your battles and, like, be careful and just kind of, like, n not,
Like,
you
I
know?
know 2 like, a whole bunch of not even 2, a whole bunch of my friends are vegans, and whenever we go out to, restaurants, I order, a dish that has meat in it, but they never say, "Oh, what the hell?" They just
Yeah.
mind their own business and order a vegan dish, and it just that's how
Exactly.
it should.
Exactly.
I don't put people down. Like, I used to be like, "Hey, being vegan is kinda stupid," but then
Mhm.
I went to college, and then I realized, "Oh, wait, these things can supplement everything."
Mhm.
And
Well,
yeah,
right, and there's so many arguments that you're gonna hear when you, like, get into the nitty-gritty of things, and I think, like, what it comes down to I mean, everybody has, like, their trope, right? Like, the thing that made them make their decision when it comes to, like, veganism or vegetarianism, and it's
yeah,
like I think, like, it was a combination of things for me to when I decided that, like, I was gonna cut out meat. And I don't wanna say like, it's hard because I'm not gonna sit here and be like, "I'm 100% vegan," or "I'm 100%, vegetarian," like, the reality is I usually what I tell people when they ask me about my diet, I'm like, I don't eat meat. That's it.
Mhm.
Mostly because
Yeah.
I don't wanna get into the complexities of the argument, and there's other things as well that go into it, but the reality is, like, no one can ever be 100% vegan because the world just does not allow for it. So
Yeah.
I do my very best on a daily basis. But I will say for me, like when it finally came down to it, and what kind of like pushed me to make like my final decision was that someone was like, "How can you be comfortable with eating a cow, but you're not comfortable with eating a dog when they both have the same intellectual properties?"
Yeah. That's like, I don't know. I
That's
hate that.
the whole
I
restaurant at the end of the universe, right? Like
Right.
guilt.
that's the when the cow walks up to the table and then like asks him which part of him he wants to eat, and then the
Right.
guy's like,
Mm,
"Well, I don't want it now," and he's like, "Well, what's the difference?"
Right.
It's like this
right,
big
yeah.
conundrum of like you're doing the same shit either way, like just because you
Mhm.
see the animal in front of you while you're changing your fucking mind. But
Yeah,
I'll be right
like,
back if
yeah.
it's hangout time. I gotta pee. Keep going.
Okay.
Okay, cool, cool.
But no, I think it's like I just finally got to the point where it's like I care so much about animal rights and like it hurts so much to see a dog, a cat, or anything abused. Why am I like, okay, let's slaughter millions of chickens and
Yeah.
throw them in a grinder? Let's
Mhm.
force cows to give up their anyways. I don't want to get into the whole propaganda
Mm.
of the thing because it can get real dark. But the reality is like there's very distinct things that like once they were put into my perspective, I was like, oh, true. That yeah,
Yeah. You're like,
duh.
"Oh, my bad." Yeah, I
And it's
feel.
like but the big thing for me is, like, I'm never like, I am a lot of my friends will always come to me and be like, "Oh, I wanna go vegan or vegetarian, like, what's your opinion?" And blah, blah, like, try and, like, get me to, like, argue either for or against whatever I'm for, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, "I
Come to your
genuinely give
own
0 fucks about what you wanna eat."
conclusion, yeah,
Yeah, I
and
don't
shit.
care. You eat what
Like
you want.
to me, I love animals, right? And I
Mhm,
I think animal welfare is a top priority, but at the same time, I eat like I eat meat, and I often have a conflicting
mhm,
of point on this. But
mhm,
then I think I was having this discussion with my mom
mhm,
years ago. This thing, like, I don't know if this is right or not, but like she came from the point of view is that certain animals were put here for uh consumption and stuff like
mhm.
that. Like like not every animal is like has the same sort of value as a dog or a cat or
I
something
mean,
because
I can hear what she's saying, sorry,
yeah,
because
because of and this more or less comes from a religious side because
right, right,
the like because in Islam halal is what we're supposed to eat, and in Judaism it's kosher, and so like
right.
those those I from what I understand are completely different and more realistic than
Mhm.
westernized, and that's where she's
Yeah, like,
coming.
I can definitely respect your mother's opinions and, like, her foundation is her foundation. The way that she was, sorry, raised to look at things, like, I get it, I respect it. But I think, like, personally for myself and, like, when I talk to my mom about this as well, is, like, as you start to become an adult, you start to develop a perspective on life and you start to see where you're like, "Oh, if I had the knowledge, I wouldn't have done this or I wouldn't have done that." And it's like when I look back at it is if I had known that I was eating what I was eating, I genuinely would have not wanted to eat it at that
Yeah,
time. And because like as a child, like you eat what your parents put in front of you. There's no intellectual conversation about it. It's your kid, eat this, right?
yeah,
And it's like, I think about that with I and I w me and my mom, we talk about it sometimes because my mom doesn't really eat meat. She does very rarely because 'cause she's got some other things going on in her life, which is fine. Um, but for the most part, she doesn't. And so, my mom, when she brought us up, she was like, "These are all your options about religion. Whichever one you care about, I will research into it and we will talk about it, which whatever appeals to you. There was no structure of like, this is what you have to follow, this is what you have to follow, that's what you have to follow. And then I think about that is like, why don't we do those same things with our children when it comes to diet, bodily autonomy and other sort of aspects of like parenthood as well. This is just like going off the topic of being a vegan or not being a vegan,
Yeah,
but like
right.
the whole point is, right? Like, why do we control some aspects and not others, and like give children the opportunity to really like
Yeah,
understand what they're doing?
100%. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I just think the whole thing comes down to what you want
Right.
to to, to do. Like, yeah, I do feel bad. Like there is like the mass meat eating,
Mhm.
or mass meat market that is the one that's damaging. It actually has detrimental effects on the
Mhm.
environment, our health and stuff. But at the same time, like everything else in life, if it's taken with balance, like it's about how why halal food and kosher food is eaten. It's all done in a balance, and that's why, like,
Right.
a lot of people convert to these religions because of those rules, where like the meat isn't actually like a poisonous meat, or if it's like
Mhm.
come from a place where it hurts
Right.
the planet and shit. So that's where I'm coming from, basically.
Well, I'm sure you've heard the argument because it's on Twitter. Like we're always talking about Twitter, but there's a huge argument on there right now about the Beyond Meat brand specifically. So
Yeah,
everybody's coming after them saying, "Oh, they have all these chemicals in their food and you'd rather eat all these chemicals and this like corn, gluten and like corn like, hello, corn is a vegetable, but okay." But
yeah,
anyway, but they're like reading out all these ingredients that have like just have like I say the term like the adult names of food, but like the more scientifically correct names of food. So it's like they're freaking out about that, but they're forgetting that there is no actual guideline where people don't actually have to tell you what's in the meat that you eat. Like they don't
yeah,
have to tell you that there's this hormone, there's that hormone, there's this thing like and I
yeah,
think as well for me like I don't want to get mad cow. I don't want to get salmonella. I don't want to risk undercooking my chicken and stuff like that. So it's like for me like the weight of it like yeah,
yeah,
you can't sit there and shit on a company that is putting every single ingredient on the label for you to look up on your own. If you Googled half of them, you would
yeah,
not say the things that you say. But the meat industry, they don't have to do anything for you, but you'll blindly eat their food, no problem. Sure, cook it up,
exactly.
throw it on the grill. It's meat. It's only one ingredient. It's 100% beef.
So they
Okay,
say, right? Yeah, yeah.
sure. That's why
Angus.
like 12-year-olds have huge boobs. Makes lots of sense. From the hormones.
Oh,
From the
okay.
hormones.
Ugh.
There was a study, like, I don't have the link to it or anything, but
Okay.
there was a study about the hormones in children coming from the meat that they eat, causing their bodies to grow in weird ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
That explains why okay. All right.
Well,
All
it's like
right.
they try to say if you eat soy, it gives you titties. It's like,
Okay.
I would be in a much better position if that was the case.
That's where the
Thanks.
insult comes from, like
Yeah.
soy boy and
Yes.
stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, okay, weird. Did
Well,
not know that. I
soy
thought people
boy
would know.
is confusing. Soy boy has a lot of fucking heritage to it there, but it's
Like
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
when somebody called me a soy boy for the first time, I was just like, I'm a bean? Is that
Yeah.
the insult? You're calling me a
Well,
bean?
it's trying to say that you're like it's a bit of like
It's like you're a
it's kind
Chad,
of
but
sexist.
it's
Yeah.
like you're an
It's sexist, yeah.
SJW Chad, is what they're calling you. They're
Yeah.
calling you a Chad of the
Like you're a little
SJWs.
soy boy and
I
yeah.
thought it was more like men who are in touch with their femininity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like Bernie
Yeah.
Bros. It's like it's meant to make fun of meatheads who are actually woke.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. So like
Um,
The
kids.
himbos.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. The
My
himbo.
favorite genre of men. I love himbos. Oh man. What were you gonna
Oh
say,
gosh.
Bailey?
How's that as a cell
Um,
phone?
I can't remember actually. I was gonna make another joke and then you distracted
The
me.
himbo has distracted you.
What? Yeah. You've never thought of the subcultures of men as genres instead of just like subcultures. It's the same with
I
women. There's
do.
different genres of women.
No, I do think of so.
That's not the
I don't call them so. Oh,
Oh,
me.
it's
No,
just because of because I like himbos.
Yeah,
Is that the
that's
joke?
all
Is
I
that
was
what's so
chuckling
funny?
at. That's what I was chuckling at.
Okay, Bailey.
Bailey. This is why you should go on Twitter.
Let's be very careful not to call out Bailey's genre of women. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very careful.
Yeah.
I'm tiptoeing, Bailey.
Yeah.
No,
You
you need me, Bailey. You need me.
Oh man, funny.
What was that?
No, it's crazy though how like there's so many different subcultures of people now online, like the way that they put them in different categories
I
now.
know, dude. Like,
Yeah.
there's the I just discovered the femboy sub genre, so that's a thing.
like within
And-
anime or within like the fetish community.
No, just in general, like outside of it now. Like it's now like they don't need to be in that
Oh.
community. They just call themselves
That's good.
fem boys
That's
because
I get ya.
they call it because they're wearing maid outfits. That's why they call themselves.
Oh, you're talking about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that I
everyone-
think might be a bit of a kink.
Yeah, I think
thing,
you're kind of
but-
looking at fetish stuff, bud. That's what I was just thinking too.
I gotta delete some shit on Twitter. Then 1 second.
Bailey, the way that you deliver that, I can't. Mr. Bailey's like, I think you're looking at fetish stuff, bud. It's like you're talking to your 13-year-old son.
Yo,
Okay,
like,
buddy.
you're on Twitter, right? All like I don't know how
Yes.
your engagement rates are, but over the last like month or two, my engagement rates have been going through the roof. Like I say LMFAO on a thread, and I get like 100 likes on that. It's not even that.
So
Honestly, I just don't even comment anything.
Oh, okay. Well, you are missing out, Missy.
Raza is like one of those
Oh.
like when you click the comment thread and you see like all the politics people beefing. He's one of those rat in the sewers. He's
The little
just
memer.
Yeah.
First of
fighting
all,
over-
I'm
he's
a
fighting
memer.
over the biggest piece of cheese they can get, which is a like.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
usually get the biggest like for like I'm not even that jokes or that like that good on Twitter. I'm like
Well, because the
dumb.
whole trend on Twitter, the whole trend on Twitter right now is getting ratioed. I did like, okay.
Yes, that is a sport, and I am very. Call me the LeBron James of ratioing people because your man.
He makes fun of me for
Does it?
talking like a Toronto man's, and he comes into my
I
DMs
know.
just jerking
Hey,
off every time he ratios someone.
Stop.
Just like, oh, I did it.
I don't know, I
Here's my
think-
proof. Well, he's got a folder full of his saved screenshots of every ratio he's got.
Right there,
This
so
one
funny.
right there. Oh my
Right
god.
there.
Oh my gosh. I just feel like I genuinely can't get myself to care enough.
I
think
know. I'm
that's it
so
for me.
envious of you. I'm so envious. Everything
But
gets
also
to me.
like but I'm also worried that, like, because of the way that cancel culture is, I'm always worried that I may say something that is just too much of a hot take that people
Mhm.
don't wanna hear me. It's like even with the Gorilla Glue situation we were talking about last week, like, a lot of people that I have mutuals with on Twitter are having the take of, like, they support her, and I have the hot take of, like, I do not support
Yeah,
everything 100%, so I'm like,
yeah.
I'm just gonna say that I don't think everybody's done their research, but also please don't fucking cancel me because I don't want to get canceled.
Yeah.
100%, like, that's why I'm hiding behind a moniker on Twitter.
Avatar.
Avatar and a little bit of an ego. Like, yeah, okay. My origin story about Twitter is I had a mental breakdown and I said, let me take this mental breakdown on Twitter. And I've never stopped.
Isn't that everyone's Twitter origin story?
That's what I thought.
I I feel like I have leaned into it for the past 4 years.
Well, um maybe it's time to try a different direction. I don't know,
It's
maybe.
working. It's working. It's working. I'm getting 100 likes for some reason. It is working.
My
Honestly,
ego
I
is
think
fed.
What?
I just think like as a woman online in any capacity, whether like whatever kind of like, especially like an open social media site like Twitter, like yes, you can make your account private, but how many people really like have private accounts?
Yeah.
You got to be careful as a woman. You don't want to draw too much attention because I had a comment on a thread one time. It was in related to the Black Lives Matter movement, and somebody was like really trying to argue with me, and I was like, "You really just look stupid, and I'm gonna make you look stupid." Some dumb whatever. And then I literally got like I can't even count like DMs on DMs on DMs, and I was like, I choose death. Where's the death button? How do I make it stop? My
Yeah.
phone is dying. It's overheating. I can't live like this.
See, I
Like,
turn off my DMs.
yeah, no, not me.
So what I do, I don't block people because I look at blocking. People probably think this is different, but I look at it as blocking as a sign of like cowardness. Like,
Mm,
oh, you're just gonna block them. You're gonna pussy out. I just mute them, right?
mhm,
I just completely like I mute them. I don't block them. They're still able to see what I'm doing, but
mhm,
it turns off that notification. So like I don't get butthurt. I don't see
mhm.
it. I don't need to respond. With blocking, I sort of give them the message that I am b- b- butthurt, and I needed to do that.
Yeah, I hear that. I will block. I don't care.
Okay, all right,
I will
fair
block.
enough.
But for me, it's more like I don't ever want to risk the chance that like okay, because there are some people on Twitter who I fundamentally, wholeheartedly, without a doubt, have absolutely zero desire to ever be friends with them or ever see their point or ever have see any value in anything they ever have to say ever, like
Mhm,
ever. So I just block them because if I'm in a Twitter thread, like number one, you're not going to read my tweet because you're not even going to respond because I don't want anyone to read your bullshit.
mhm.
Also, I don't want to read your bullshit, so I'd rather just never see it.
Yeah, I see that, and like I do that, but yeah, with
Yeah,
muting.
yeah.
Things work. But it feels so great when you see your numbers go up, and I
Mhm.
always quote tweet my myself to be like, "Yeah, ratio that man," and,
Yeah,
just stroke my ego where
yeah.
I'm becoming a narcissist, and I fucking love it.
But I mean, like, as long as you can be adult enough to admit that that's your issue, then I mean, it's okay that you can think you can admit that.
Yeah,
I think like
like, again, like, my Twitter persona is a Twitter persona. I don't bring that out to
mhm,
the
yeah.
real world. Like, I can't tell my friends my worldviews because they won't be friends with me anymore.
Right. Well,
You
also
just shouldn't
like
be friends with them. Just saying.
No, it's legitimate ones. No, not like the ones you're thinking. Like it's the Israel and Palestine thing. It's those
mm.
things.
Well, I think just like the toxicity of social media in general. Like I was
Mhm.
watching something recently about like how children of young ages, like parents nowadays, like I don't know how they're raising children under the legal age because it's very hard. And
It's
so
what
the
an art.
documentary Oh, yeah, it's a parental nightmare. But,
Yeah.
the documentary that I was watching talks about specifically, like, children ages, like, 14 and under on social media apps being constantly bombarded by messages of dirty, disgusting older men, right? And not just
Yeah.
just, like, just ew. And it's like they had a section where they were just interviewing, like, teenagers and asking them, like, when it comes to your use of the internet, like how do you feel about like Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and like how does your self-image, how is it reflected based on your social media profiles and things like that? And it's like people care so much about their likes, and these kids even said it. They're like, if I post something on Instagram and it does not get the likes that I'm hoping that it'll get or eventually get there, like I will delete it because I'm embarrassed
Oh
and
my
I don't
god.
want anyone to see it. And it's like I I I I post stuff. I don't fucking care if it gets even one
Yeah.
like. Like
Same here.
like I have friends that'll be like, "Oh, I posted a picture. Like, did you not see it? Did you not like it?" And I'm like, no, I didn't. I don't care. I don't love you, but like, no, I don't care." You
That's
want me to hype you up, like send the message to me directly. Like,
yeah.
like when I want to feel good about a picture I've taken, I send it to my girlfriends to hype me up. I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna post it on Instagram and hopefully I get like 40 likes. I genuinely, if for the future reference of anybody in the world ever, I do not give a fuck about how many likes I get on any social media. It does not equate to who I am as a person. No,
Okay.
thank you. Just if you're doing it because you feel like, "Oh, I gotta, like, make her feel good," save your time. It's okay, I'm good.
Because I'm
Yeah.
confident. I know exactly.
I'm fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
And,
like
but I mean, it doesn't even have to equate to confidence either. It's just a pure fact that, like, when I like other people's pictures on social media, like, I legitimately, when I'm liking photos, I don't fucking care even what I'm liking or even why I'm
oh,
liking it, and, like, sometimes it's just I only like it because I just wanna reference it later. It literally means nothing to me. So I know
mhm,
people are liking my stuff, it means nothing to them. So it's like,
mhm.
I'm good, I don't need it, it's okay. Like, if you want to, go ahead, but, like, I'm good.
I I feel like I want to like I understand what you s- said there, and I will get back to it. But for God damn it, every time we have a podcast, you bring out the grown up side of us, and I fucking because now I gotta think.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
no, like I agree. Like
Mm,
for marching, like I was even thinking about this last night. Like I
mhm,
posted like that music video teaser trailer thing for our gameplay thing. I put
mhm,
a lot of time and effort into that, and I'm thinking people on my who are seeing my story think that's cringy. Probably think it's cringy. Probably think that's stupid. And I was about to delete it, then I realized,
no.
wait a second. I'm doing something very cool, something I'm proud of, very unique. I'm doing it
Yep.
with, uh, uh, I'm doing it with one of my good friends and another
Mhm.
really cool person who's now a good friend of mine. Let's just get that out of there. But, uh, like, and that sort of sense of like accomplishment sort of like washed away that sort of was like, I
Yeah.
don't need to appease other people because I'm doing a kick-ass job doing what I love, and I don't
Mhm.
care after
Well,
that.
ultimately, that's it, right? Like, if you're really proud of something that you've done, and like, so
Mhm.
this is another thing too, is like quite often, like, I'll be on Instagram and like, I can think specifically, like, there's posts that I've seen Bailey post on his, on the dead stock stuff that he posts. And I'll see it and
Yeah,
I'll be like, "Oh, that's like a cool product. That's like a cool photo." And then I scroll right past it. And I'm like,
yeah,
"Oh, but like he's my friend and like this is important. I got to scroll." And then I find myself like scrolling back up to posts of people that I care about to
yeah.
be like, "Here's a like," because I feel like it makes you feel bad, but like ultimately like it's not the end of the world. Like somebody like it's not. I mean, I do
100%.
it because I think about it in the moment, right? But it's like ultimately it's like whatever.
Is this a
Yeah.
Gen Z or is it Gen Z or
Gen Z, yeah. Gen
Gen
Z
Z
or
that
whatever.
that's stuck in that like likes is currency to
Hmm.
Well, but
them.
I think ultimately it's fundamentally ruining their lives. Like
It
kids'
is
lives now, like I feel horrible for young children now growing up in this
100%,
day and age. Like
100%.
my cousin, she's 13, 14, And she was telling me she wanted to so she wanted to dye her hair, and she was like, "Oh, I kind of want to do like blonde highlights." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, dope. Like totally like I'll get my friend to do it for you cuz I have a friend that I'd just rather my family see someone else besides me." So I'm like, "Yeah, like I can go take you to my friend. Like she'll do a really good job." And mostly like I wanted it to be an experience for her. And she was like,
Mm.
"Yeah, well, I can't because all my friends said that like I'll look really ugly with blonde hair." And I
See,
was like,
yeah,
"Oh, okay." So I had to explain to her, I'm like, when they say that to you, it's not because you're gonna look ugly with blonde hair. It's because you're gonna look tough as fuck, and they're all gonna be jealous.
jealous,
Like,
exactly.
that's the
Like,
problem.
and again, I will point to my mom because she's the wisdom in my
Mhm.
like she's like the wisdom, and she's like, once you take that leap of faith, there's nothing no one can do against you. At
Right.
that point, they're just doing it because they're angry that they didn't do it. Shit,
Yeah.
or not angry, but jealous.
Well, think about it this way, like, there was probably a time in your life when you were younger and you had a crush on someone, right? And you were like, "Oh, like, that girl's so pretty," or in my case, like, "That guy's so cute," or whatever, right? You're like, "Oh, I'm so attracted to this person." And I guarantee one of your friends was like, "Well, they're ugly," or "Ugh, you're
Yeah,
better than them," or "Oh, why are you
yeah,
wasting your time with them?" Like, "Ugh, like, why
mhm,
are you doing that?" And, like, in a lot of my previous relationships, my friends around me, they've said that, like, "Oh, why are you dating him? Like, he's a loser, or he's this," and, like, for me, I'm like, "It's cool that you feel that way, but, like, I like this person,
yeah.
and I think this person is cool, and I don't fucking care if you don't like them. It's none of your business. You don't have to fuck them, so thanks for your
I was
input, though."
I was on the on receiving end of that because like when
Mhm,
I was dating my ex here in Niagara,
mhm,
her friends were like kind of this like elitist attitude and stuff like that.
mhm,
So I was working at the Hilton hotel laundry because I
mm,
wanted to make money for college, and like,
mhm,
oh, Reza works minimum wage. Meanwhile, my boyfriend works at he's a friggin' making bank at in like Toronto or something
yeah,
like that. And I'm thinking like it's like sad to be like this is what these people's lives are like.
yeah.
That's
I mean,
how shallow it is.
I can tell you, I've dated the guy that's the low man on the totem pole, and I've dated the
Mhm.
guy that's the high man on the totem pole. And I'll be honest, the high man on the totem pole has been the trashiest, douchiest, garbage person that I've ever dated. And so, like,
Like,
I don't put value on someone based on their stature in life, and like the fact that
yeah,
like that's how we're like, but they parents like that's how we're raised in a society. It's like you got to find someone successful in order for you to be successful, in order for you to be happy. And it's like I used to
especially in
always
my
make
opinion.
this reference. Yeah, I used to always make this reference to people that like if I was in love with someone, we could live in a box together and I would be fine. Like
Yeah.
it's all about the person that you are with, and like if you guys are good and happy, like that's what's important.
That sounds like something from a 1950s black and white movies because True Love was that. And I
Yeah.
agree with I agree with
The whole
Yeah.
children's story of living in a shoe. But
Yeah.
yes.
guys, I'm sorry. I have to go just because the shit's fucked up in my life right now. So I gotta run because I got too many things to
Okay,
handle.
cool. Should we
Well, we
end it
can
here
end the
now?
did you end the stream?
I was just about to, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
was just
well,
letting
end
you
the
guys know.
stream. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you don't have to go if you don't want to, Raza.